Hey everyone, this is a how to fix your Roman shades when they won't lift and retract. I think these are Bali brand, but it should be applicable for a lot of different types. So we'll go ahead and get started. First up, if you've got a valance on yours, go ahead and pop that off. To take those valance clips off, you just twist them. See, they've got a radius on one side, so you can pop them in and out. So next up, we're going to pop these little clips off one at a time, and we're going to leave the middle one for last. Let's pop those out. When you have these all out, this will come down, so be careful in the order you do it. I'm doing the middle one last, so we'll be in the center to hold it up. Rotate the whole thing. Down and out. So next up, we're going to pop this cover off of the aluminum extrusion. Just take a screwdriver, hook it under here, and twist. And it will just pop this edge right up and over. Then, once you've got it started, just kind of wedge the screwdriver in there. It'll help roll the whole thing up and over. Once that is popped up over the edge, the whole thing just pops out. There we go. Set that aside. Now I think I see what the problem is here, why this is jamming. You see this cord, it is frayed, as is this one over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some replacement cord, just 1mm diameter cord. I'll link that in the video description, and we're going to replace this. All right, we're going to start with this worst offender. I've got the blind stretched all the way out here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull off this clip, pull out this shield, and we are going to thread our string through. So first with the shield, I'm just going to get a pick under here and pull up. The whole thing is a snap fit, so it just pops right off. So we're going to get it in that groove and just pry upward. You don't even need to take it all the way off. Even though this is all the way down there, we want a little bit extra so we don't run out of string. So we're going to count the turns of string we got left here, and we're going to make sure we put the same number back. So look how frayed this is. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to put at least 7 loops up here. You can put a few more. It won't hurt anything. But you need at least that many to give you extra space. And make sure you don't run out of string, because then you won't be able to pull them all the way down. All right, so I've got this unwound. You can see that cable is just, that jacket is just frayed. Luckily, it has not broken. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the knot off of this, and I'm going to tie it to new string. And then I'm going to pull that string all the way through, and I'll put the loops on it afterwards around this. But for right now, I'm just going to pull that whole thing. You can see where it goes in right there. I'm going to pull it down through this, and it's going to come through that braided sheath. I'm going to pull it all the way to the bottom. All right, so what I did is I ended up tying a sheet bend and taking the frayed sheath off of this because it wouldn't fit through. Now, I'm going to guide it through from here, and right here where this goes into the sheath, you can grab it. Move that camera back a little bit so you can see what's going on. So I've got it going through here. And you can grab it right here and give it some slack and just pull it right through. That way you can be up here and guide it. There we go, we're through. Now we'll get it back into this sheath and pull it from the bottom once we've got ourselves some slack. I just made a loop right here, and we're just pulling this through. We're going to keep pulling until we get that knot. There it is. And we'll pull a little bit more. Because you know what? This line is cheap. You want to use what's easy so you can cut off excess. So we've got enough here to tie it off. When we look at where this previous line goes, it goes down through here. All right. And then it comes up through here. And it's just got this little ferrule crimped on it and then a stopper knot. So we're going to take some pliers and open up that ferrule. Just squeeze it on the long side here. Pop it open. This is just unsquishing it. There we go. Now we can pass cord through it freely. And we'll squish it back when we're done. This is too small for the knot, so we've taken that knot out. And we're just going to thread it through here and then back up. That's the easy part. And then pop this in. There we go. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll put this ferrule on it. And we'll tie a stopper knot on the bottom. They use just an overhand knot. I'm going to do a figure 8 knot. That gives it a little bit more meat. And to do that, you just go around an extra time, then go through the back. There we go, and there's your figure 8. Boom. All right, pull that back up so it's tight. Crimp this ferrule back down right in front of that knot. There we go. It's pretty solid. Now we'll go back up to the top, pull this slack out of it, make sure we're all the way extended down here, and we'll wrap it around back up top. All right, so I've still got the blinds stretched to their max. I have pulled the slack out of this string. So that means, remember, I counted the wraps before I did this. We need at least 7 wraps around this, and then we're going to put this clip on here. And we need enough space that when it's winding, it can wind around this. So we're going to move this. It might have crept in a little bit. We're going to move it over enough that it can wind all the way up in this. So I don't know exactly how much I need. I'm just going to give myself a couple feet. Guys, there's 100 feet of this here. I mean, you only need like 8 feet maybe for each of these. So I can do a dozen of these runners before I need another one. So I'm just going to use a lot extra because I've only got one set of blinds here to repair. So instead of cutting it short and having to restring this, I'm just going to give myself a couple feet to work with and then cut off the excess when we're done. That way, if I mess up and I didn't have enough, it won't be an issue. I'm just going to wrap this around. I'm going to give it 8 wraps. I counted 7 previously. And if you want, there's this little end over here. You can just slide it over. That makes it easier. And we're going to count up those wraps. That string sitting in that groove, we're just going to take the clip, put it over top. There we go. See, it's holding it down. There we go. All right, so I've got all these strings rewrapped and replaced. Now we're going to test the blinds pulling up and make sure that we've got everything right before we close it up. All right, so here we go. Looks like it's winding just fine. That is awesome. All right. Go ahead and close this up after we test the other side. Look at that, spooling it up nice. All right, see how clean that is now? That will work. All right, for this next part, this little ledge right here is what this part hooks into, and then this snaps over right here. That's what we're gonna do. You gotta get it butted up against here. And it wants to sit a little bit flatter, so you gotta pull it up a little bit, like this. You gotta pull it up and over this edge. A screwdriver can help you do that. You keep it in there and work on just this end. You hear it click. You wanna go down that whole length and we'll click it in. You gotta make sure you're in this groove first. And then click it up and over. All right, it's all clicked in, feels secure, ready to put this back on the wall. Make sure it's centered. There, that one's locked in. That one's locked in. Goes down fine. Goes up fine. The last step is putting your valance back up. And you see all of these clips. You need to have the valance clips back up on here and line them up horizontally. And you flip it around so that Y goes in over top. And we'll just kind of guide it in. So there you have it. That's how to fix your blinds. These ones work now. They can go up and down and they stay where they're put. And if you need those tools that I used in the video, it's just a pair of scissors, a flathead screwdriver, and a hook and pick set. I'll put that down in the description along with the blinds cord that I used.